Yo.
I would say there's nothing better than being introduced as a genius before you screen movies to a crowd of people. I'm just teasing it. It's like when a comedian is brought up with the description, the funniest person in the world. Yeah, what a setup. This is actually unbelievable what I'm about to tell you, but in this room right now, this is so crazy considering what I just did with my last movie. This is the only public Q&A screening this movie will ever have.
Wow.
It's just you guys.
Oh,
right, this is it. So we really better do something with it.
Yeah.
I think I did 100 of these for Nirvana the band.
Woo!
And so we're going to have to pack a lot into the end of this screening, so be ready. Dom and I are going to come up here and we're just going to start.
Yes!
It's going to be live as we're coming in through the lobby. I don't know how to prepare you for this film. I'm sure many of you already have an idea that this is like my true... People who thought that BlackBerry was my big sellout picture, you ain't seen nothing. For a long time, it's funny, I was just saying I would never admit this, but for a long time I had been looking for a movie where I could, also sound ridiculous for those of you who've seen my films, a movie where I could really make something about myself. And I finally found it. I won't spoil anything other than to say that Dominic Sessa is a very special guy, and you're going to get a chance to meet him. And try to read his mind in this movie because that's really where the magic happens. I had lunch with him in New York when I was not planning on making this movie, and I sat across from him and he told me stories, and I watched him as I told him my stories, and I was just so mesmerized that I thought, okay, I want this lunch to keep going for months and months and months, and it did. Okay, that's all I'm going to say other than thank you so much, Los Angeles. I love screening movies here. You guys are, in my opinion, the best film audience in the world. I know people come from bullshit cities all the time. And it's because I think you're starting to get over, now that all of the money and productions have left you, your cynicism around it has gone with it, and so you're starting to remember why you moved here in the first place, which is love of cinema. So, seeing your desperate, unemployed faces, yearning for the screen has a certain magic to it, and I've never had a better place to screen movies. I really do mean it sincerely. I make movies because of what you do here. Really, all my friends and I are doing is impressions of you. And we'll continue to do them until you stop. It's like it could be any day. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll be back afterwards with Dom. Bye. Please welcome Dominic Sessa.
Yeah! Woohoo! Woo! Ah!
Dominic.
Matthew.
Where was it that we actually first met? Because I get asked this so many times, and I don't even remember the name of the place. Do you know what it
Sorry, I was telling you to cross my leg.
Cross.
Well, like in a realistic sense.
I see.
Yeah. We met at the Chelsea Hotel.
Was it at the restaurant at the Chelsea Hotel?
Yeah.
Yes. And it was maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago?
Over 2 years ago.
Over 2 years ago. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, see, I didn't even realize what it was.
Like winter of 2024.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then we were shooting in summer 2020.
Over, like a year later.
Yeah. I remember, I don't even know the context of the meeting. I remember sitting, and the first thing, I called you Sess rather than Tom.
Yeah.
And you said to me, oh yeah, some of my friends at home call me Seth.
Call me Seth, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, okay. And it just dawned on me that since that meeting, I have never nor have ever heard anybody else call you Sess.
Oh my God, you haven't been around the right people.
I guess, but I met your friends the other night, the guys from Deerfield.
Yeah, no, they call me Dom.
Yeah, that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that is extremely interesting about the production of this movie is that, yeah, it was Dom and I making it after he'd done the holdovers, but in a crazy act of a coincidence, like 80% of the crew of the holdovers came to make this movie with us. So Dom knew everybody. They were like his family.
Yeah, they all loved me.
They loved it. They hated me. But Dom liked me. And so they were put in a very awkward position. I'm just kidding. The crew's unbelievable. And what was that like for you to basically be going through another movie in the 70s with more or less the same crew? Also, that movie was also shot in Massachusetts, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I love the people in, especially the crews in Massachusetts.
They're amazing.
The people in Massachusetts are very smart, very well-read state. You know, number one in education, I think. So
Is that really true?
yeah, we have the best people working for us. Like,
In terms of education?
yes, yeah. If nothing else, they read a lot of books. But yeah, it was very, I think, doing this movie and having like a bigger responsibility than I ever had before, working with familiar faces stuff.
Was it way harder than shooting holdovers? I never asked you that.
Harder in different ways. Like I felt it was easier to say no to you. Well, I mean, yeah, when I did the holdovers, I didn't know like.
But you could say no.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I didn't feel like I was in a place. I was an imposter, and I was trying to pretend every day like I had an idea of what I was doing. And in this one, I had like a little 5% more of an idea of what I was doing. And in that 5%,
You took a stand.
I made
and told me
choices.
I'm
I
not
made
doing
choices.
this.
Yeah,
I made choices.
Yeah, conscious choices.
In some ways, like this movie is sort of the story. I mean, I know this is, I'm basically telling our like conception of this, but it was trying to almost emulate that feeling that you had making the holdovers. Exactly what you just said. Somebody who steps into an environment and has no idea what they're doing and is so afraid to get caught or found out, and so is kind of in that mixed young adolescent male space of being like, okay, so do I say what I think and possibly look like an idiot, or do I just say nothing, but does that make me look like an idiot?
Yeah.
I just remember talking about this, and all of a sudden the ideas for what this movie was about started forming in my head at that lunch, and I was like, oh, okay. He and I both understand the same feeling of it's hard to express because I mean we made a whole movie about it, and I'm not even sure if we expressed it that well in the movie. But the feeling of being young and wanting to enter adulthood, but having no idea how to do that, and only being able to look to these role models, like in your case, Paul Giamatti, Alexander Payne, the people on that crew, and being like, okay, so if I am just like this person, maybe I'll survive.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like, especially when we were doing this sort of thing, talking about the movie, I would just, and I do the same thing with you. I just say the things that they say. I say the things that you say.
Yeah, I know I should really.
Yeah. I really
I've heard you repeat lies that I have invented. What did I tell you? No. I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, that was a mistake. I was caught, and I was too tired to think
running with it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the secret of filmmaking.
That's our secret.
Yeah. Let's tell them some more of our secrets. I'm trying to think of some things on set that because this really is our only chance to talk about it. You're in every single shot of the movie. I think maybe you guys watching it, you'd never know, but 90% of the footage, I'm sitting on the ground right at your feet, basically moving you 1 inch at a time, so that you're in the right frame.
No, people. I've been asked about this. Like, it's so impressive the way you shot it, with just having pieces of heads in every single frame. And everybody asks, like, you must. Well, yeah, but I think people really think that took a long time, you know. And in reality, it would have. The only way we were able to get it within for 3 or 4 takes.
Which is all we ever did, by the way, of any scene. We really never shot more than 3 or 4 takes of just about anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of things that we shot a lot of, but it never got more than 7. And the way we did it was we would just set things up. And obviously Michael Bauman, who was going to be here, but he's on set right now shooting just down the street. We sort of developed a system where I would always be in the frame just like an inch or 2 out of the shot, so that if Dom needed to move or we needed to readjust him, or if we were coming up with things live, we could just do it together. Like I was never further than whisper distance from Dom.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of just super long, especially in the kitchen, where you you just told me before we were rolling, like, all right, you're gonna just wash dishes. Stavros is gonna make fun of you. Leo's gonna like laugh and do some drugs. you just react to it and we're gonna roll. But you were there the whole time. I mean, doing like a 5, 6, 7 minute take of all of that stuff is, I mean, especially for Stavros, super stressful.
Oh yeah.
But to have you there, like always constantly saying something, giving a piece of 2 cents.
Yes, it was much harder on me than it was on you.
Totally, yeah. No, because we were relying on you a lot. I think we got to a point where we were constantly looking for you for that stuff.
It became very difficult when I abandoned the set and refused to show up.
Right. Yeah, those last 2 weeks, no man.
I gotta say, because it was my first time doing a movie like this, where it was just me and in terms of people I knew beforehand, my producer Matt Miller, we were the only Canadians on the set. It may have seemed as though I was. Why did I get a laugh? Only 2 Canadians. Big joke. It actually became a crutch for me more than it did for the cast, because I normally hang out with my friends on set and we talk in between takes and like we're always coming up with stuff together. And I realized because I didn't have that, I kind of needed to find a new group, and that group became the cast, and specifically you. And so me being near you all the time, talking with you guys constantly, and almost injecting myself as an invisible cast member became a safety blanket for me.
I'm shocked you're not in the movie at all.
Well, we did a lot of digital effects.
Yeah.
My head, my arm, like this is me other shots. But I made a conscious decision early when I realized what we were doing, and I realized this was truly your movie, that I actually couldn't be in it. Because unlike my other films, where, I said this in the intro, where I'm kind of playing my persona, like I'm playing the imaginary friend I've created to deal with problems that I can't deal with. It didn't seem right for a movie that is essentially about your and my childhood for me to appear in it. And it seemed like it would take it to almost like the student film level. I can't even explain it, but I thought, yeah, truly. And for me to be in the movie would be like, well, who am I playing? Like, I'm already in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, so
yeah, you've inserted so much of yourself in
that it would have just been bizarre. And then when Stavros was like, I'm going to be the fat funny guy in this one, I realized there was no, like, I was there was no space for
your job.
Do you remember meeting these guys? I know because the way we designed the film, if it's not obvious from how we watched it, is that I was trying to recreate the experiences I had when I was going to summer camp, because I never worked in a kitchen before. I didn't know what it was like. The information that I got was from Bourdain's writing, and then from talking with the people who worked in kitchens with him when I went to Provincetown. And so my North Star was what it was like for me at summer camp, looking at older counselors and older kids and being like, these people are like gods. Like, I couldn't believe how both intimidating they were and how much I was like, okay, so that's who I am. And I don't mean that's what I want to be, right? There was a distinction. It was like I had this counseling grades that everybody had a camp in, right? Because that's what they did. It was a strictly Christian camp, and so they gave me a new name. But it was always a cool name, like Braids, or when I became a counselor, they called me Hamburglar. your name was given to you, right? As a barbecue, you're given name. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I look more like a Marcy May, if you've seen that film. And it was, I saw these guys and I was like, that's me. Not like I like that person, I wish I could be like them. I was like, that is me. In the same way that when I would watch movies as a kid, I was specifically the animated Robin Hood, I didn't watch it and think I was watching a movie about a character I wanted to be like. I thought I was watching a movie about myself. And so when I would see movies that didn't have characters that I could identify with totally, I would be like so bored and wonder why this movie was even made. I'd be like 7 years old watching a movie and be like, what is this? Where I got in the movie? Why did they even do this? And so this was like trying to recreate that experience for Dom in a kitchen of putting male role models of various degrees of like life success, we'll say, and having him choose. And what was crazy, this is a long-winded way of getting to this question, is that I was witnessing that happen in real life as well. Because Dom is just meeting Leo Will for the first time. He's just meeting Stavros. He's just meeting Antonio Banderas. And he's at a position in his life where these people really don't have something to teach him. And for me, the whole reason that this movie works in the way that it does is because the resonance between the real relationships and the on-screen relationships were so tight.
Yeah, totally. No, it's true. Like Leo, for example, I looked at him as like, this guy's a really good actor, and I don't want him to think that I suck.
Or that you're not cool.
Yeah, that I'm not cool.
Yeah, I thought
I think everybody wanted Leo
To like them,
yeah, to think that they're cool because he's so naturally a cool person.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with Stavros. Like he's such a self-deprecating person, but he is something that money cannot buy.
Exactly.
Something that everybody wants and is unattainable.
Yeah,
you know?
he has so much credibility and dignity, and like there's nothing you could say to him that would move him off of his positions. And once you really hang out in the room, because I was just meeting really for the first time, even though we had a bit of a relationship beforehand, you realize that you want him to mock you. Like, yeah, that you want him to make fun of you in a way that is bringing you in, and that was so important for that kitchen. When I told him,
you know how Stavros acts to people that he doesn't talk to.
He's so nice to them.
So normal.
Yeah,
he's so normal.
He's like, hi, how you doing? Oh, wow, so nice to meet you.
God,
And you're like, wait a minute. Do you like them or me, Sal?
You fucking
Oh, I thought somebody was showing you a question. We will answer questions, and unless you guys are you done watching the channel on these.
I mean, do you have anything else to say?
You're talking to me. We keep going for days. I'm trying to think of things that we'll never get the chance to admit that we shouldn't admit now. But maybe we'll just go to questions from the audience because I'm not sure how long they're going to let us sit here for. So just raise your hand. I'll call you. You have a microphone, so if you shout. Yes, you right there in the hat, yeah.
Kind of a basic question, but like both directing and acting opposite Antonio Banderas. Is that like intimidating? It just seems like he's like such a cool guy. Like, is that hard to like?
It would have been.
You met him first. So.
Yeah, and it would have been intimidating if he was not so unbelievably gracious. I would say the thing that people don't know about Antonio Banderas is that he is, I mean, it's why the character is written this way. He has such humility in how he presents himself to you. No ego. He is coming to you with questions. He is so graceful. Again, this character is crafted in his image, right? Like originally the character was not a Roman Catholic humble chef, right? And it was only when he was cast that he becomes this character. And so the idea, like you're intuiting, at first was extremely intimidating. Like we're gonna make a movie with Antonio Banderas as a chef. That's crazy. Like he's gonna come in here and beat us up. But you, the second you're in a room with him, you realize, this is my partner. And the way that he worked with Dom, the tone that they have with one another in those scenes was, from my perspective, 1-to-1 with how they treated one another in between takes. He was a true partner.
Yeah, but no, the best stuff was when he was teaching me like legitimately how to cook the stuff in the movie. You know, we went in and you just said, all right, Antonio's gonna teach you how to cook a fucking lobster throat or whatever it is, and you just watch and learn and take it in and listen to what he says, and it was intimidating and scary a little bit because he's so serious about it. But I actually felt like he cared about me for in those scenes out of the other ones, those ones in particular, like where he's even not saying anything, just teaching me how to make ketchup and salt. Those moments, I felt like that was the best way for us to communicate almost, at least as the character.
I totally agree, and it helped that he had a standard that he wanted to meet because he is in the restaurant business. If you go to his hometown in Malaga, Spain, where Dom was just a little while ago, you realize that he is like a restaurateur, and he takes it so seriously. And so these scenes where he's showing Dom the art of cooking, there's no dialogue. Like he's just literally teaching him these things, and because he wants to get it right, all Dom needs to do is sit there and listen. And in a lot of ways, that is, from my perspective, in terms of how I approached it, the secret to much of this movie, which is I'm trying to put Dom in situations that I could relate to, where he was approaching them as a neophyte. Like he did not know necessarily what was going to happen. Now it's not like somebody's going to pull out a gun and surprise him. Like, it's not like it's so crazy, but his I would say his inexperience, in the same way that Anthony Bourdain was so inexperienced when he first got into this role, was the secret weapon. And after I met him in New York, my producer Matt Miller was there too, and we left together. And I said we should start shooting tomorrow. He was ready. Like we could shoot with him tomorrow. And I was so intentional about trying to protect Dom because there was so much pressure on him, like learning to cook, learning how to shuck an oyster, like going on every single restaurant that Anthony Bourdain had been to in New York. And like a big part of my job before we started shooting this movie was dissuading.
Forget all.
Yeah, and just keeping him away from this because that's not how it happened. Right? Like Anthony Bourdain doesn't show up to Provincetown as Anthony Bourdain. When you guys just watched Sorry, next question. Yes, right there with the glasses.
Can you talk about the moment that Bourdain's writing really connected to you?
Okay, so the question was a moment in our lives when Bourdain's writing connected with us. I got a very specific answer, and it is maybe not what you think. I had never read any of Bourdain's writing apart from like maybe I come across quotes and things like that before really I met Dom and decided to make this movie. And for me, it wasn't just like a single line. It was the chapter in Kitchen Confidential called A Day in the Life of a Chef. If you haven't read this, it is, to me, is such a supreme, I wish the book opened with it. It's so powerful. He basically walks through in order all the things that he does in a day as a chef in New York City. And I try to, in my own pathetic way, recreate that when Dom is lying to Nancy, saying what he does in the day of a writer and everything is inverted, because I found it so powerful. Everybody should read this chapter. And the really amazing detail about it is that this began as an essay that he'd written, and his mother mailed to either the New York Times or New York Magazine in order for them to publish it. It's what started his career. And that was a rider that I considered putting at the end of the film during the Chimerons, but I thought that it was maybe too confounding. But that's definitely
something about the Rolling Stones magazine. That story. Where did that story come from?
That's from the biography written about Bourdain. And what Don's referring to is another story that we really kind of centered the film around. As soon as I tell it to you, you'll be like, oh yes, of course. And it's that Rich Sommer, who's, in my opinion, one of the greatest actors alive, he plays Dom's dad in the film. He worked for Columbia Records, okay? And Tony goes with his dad to a Columbia Records party, and he's still young, but he's surrounded by all of these cool people, and he puts on sunglasses and dresses cool, and he lies to all these women who are older than him, saying that he is a writer for Rolling Stone. And that story tells you so much. Like like about striving for status, about wanting to be somebody or not, but also effortlessly being cool. And that was another one of the early things that we had read, and we were like, okay, yeah, we get this, we understand that instinct, and let's see where that can take us. Yes, you went there.
My question is for how do you decide on picking your stories, and how do you make them different than the usual biopics? Because you've done Blackberry and now you've done this, and in a way, The Dirties is sort of not a biopic, but something that's.
This question was how do I pick movies and approaching biopics with whatever the way that I do. And you're mistaken when you said all my movies are different. I've just been remaking the same thing. This one's no different. But I always do the same thing, which is well, in this case, I met an actor who I was just like, okay, it wouldn't matter what the story is. I want to make a movie with him. I want to make it about what it was like to be at this age that he's at, that he and I both didn't necessarily agree on everything, but we saw it the same way. But I'll say this about biographies and making movies about things that actually happened, and that is that, and I think this is obvious, and many of the people who read Ray closely will know this, I never let the facts get in the way of the truth. And I think that there are other types of movies or books or there's other stories that can give you a kind of, I won't say historically accurate, but just the facts. And I believe in what Werner Herzog says about ecstatic truth, which is that there's something truer than what happened underneath the literal details of it. And I think the job of storytellers is to extract that, right? It's like, Antonio Banderas talks about it in reference to the Bible. It's like, you may think this is not factually true, but it is metaphorically true whether you want it to be or not. It's like saying that like the plot of the Shawshank Redemption isn't real. It's like, well, okay, but I know Andy Dufresne, and I know these characters, and indeed he does escape from Shawshank. So what the hell are you talking about? like they're again. I realize that this is like a mental institution opinion I have, but it is true, and yeah. So I see stories that are interesting to me, and in this case, things that Dom and I were both very curious about, because we were both trying to work this out in our own life, like what it means to lie and inflate your own status, what it means to see yourself through the eyes of a woman that and you really want their attention, but you don't know how to get it. Like these were problems that I thought were worth talking about, and it seemed like between him, me, and Anthony Bourdain, we were all kind of dealing with a lot of the same stuff. So I have no rhyme or reason, so I shouldn't say rhyme or reason, I have no method behind picking these stories. Like all things, I just wait until they kind of find me. And that's definitely what happened here, because if you had come to me 2 years ago and said, hey, you're gonna make a movie with Anthony Bourdain, I would have just laughed. I would have been like, there's no way. Like there's no conceivable future where I could make a movie with Anthony Bourdain. Yes.
On Provincetown, kind of a through line with all your movies is that authenticity, shooting on location, something that maybe you've gone in the past. I was wondering how impactful that was for building your world for this film, and then for Dom or Sess, kind of whatever. Hell yeah. For Dom, how big was that for you, and how you wanted to then bring this role to life as well, shooting on location in Provincetown?
The question was, why did we shoot in Provincetown, and how important was it? I'll say quickly from my side, it was one of the only things that I demanded when we first decided we were going to make the movie, and it's crazy how much respect, how hard it made making that movie.
Yeah, well, I think it worked though.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
We had to be there. It was, and we've talked about this quote in a couple different interviews now, where Anthony Bourdain, when he's visiting Provincetown, I guess it was Parts Unknown or No Rest, one of the shows.
Parts Unknown.
Thank you, and Parts Unknown, and he's visiting Provincetown, and it's very overcast, kind of ugly, gloomy day in Provincetown, and yet he's there and he's describing it as paradise, and he's asking himself, why he was so frustrated and angry at this time of his life. And the fact that we're actually there and actually able to film and shoot in the real locations and capture the type of people that actually visit this place, you're seeing this kind of heavenly, majestic, and perfect setting stacked up against this
Miserable kid, yeah.
miserable kid. And for the audience, I think that it's really important because you're constantly asking yourself, like, you put yourself back to when you were at that age, and you consider all the things that are around you, and nostalgia, I think, brings you to a place where everything was perfect, you know, and it's so hard to wrap your mind around things that piss you off, because everything seems perfect in retrospect. And
Well,
I think
hopefully.
yeah, but it's seeing a very timeless story, a timeless experience for young people in this place that is locked in time, you know, and locked in this kind of magical energy that everybody describes it the same way. So to see someone like that and experiencing it that way is really jarring, I think.
Well, so much of the movie is, why can't this kid see the magic that is his life?
Right.
Right? Like how lucky he is. He's born with such an unbelievable mind. People seem to like him even though he's so grouchy and has such a bad attitude. And I mean, again, I was exactly the same. And it's like the story of getting in touch with the like numinous reality around you. Like life is such a miracle. And the fact that we all, not all of us, but so many of us, like go through our teenage years as resentful, self-entitled, like we feel like the world owes us something, or even worse, we know we owe the world something and we're afraid to pay it. Like that's real pain. And it just was the perfect setting to get that across, which is like the edge of America, as far as you can go, right? Like literally edge of the world. And yeah, right. We're all started. And even then, you can't be happy. Any questions from back? Yeah, you were right there. Yeah.
What sources saw that you think most influenced how you tell the story?
Well, obviously Kitchen Confidential, but I'll tell you the secret source.
Can you talk about living Providence?
Yeah, well, it's one and the same, because I moved to Provincetown as soon as I knew I was making this movie, and it was meeting the people there who worked with Tony or knew Tony back in the 70s, specifically a guy named Larry Luster who worked with Tony. We actually have a character, you know, at the end of the movie when Antonio Banderas is teaching that new kid how to shuck an oyster. That is Larry Luster when he was that age, and now that guy owns the restaurant with his family, and he was a huge source of information. And while I was on that same trip, I never left after we got to that place and we started shooting the movie shortly afterwards. But I was told about Howard Mitchum, who wrote the Provincetown Seafood Cookbook. His widow was still alive, and that turned me on to a huge central text of the movie, which is Howard Mitchum's Provincetown Seafood Cookbook, which we show in the movie. And if you can get your hands on a copy of this book, do it, because you will see so much of Bourdain's writing style in this guy's cookbook. The simplicity with which he talks about food, why he talks food, why food and culture as a synthesis together matter. It's crazy. It's like finding the Rosetta Stone of this guy. And so if you're interested in learning more and something slightly off the beaten path, find that book. It's a pleasure to read, and you will see the recipe for that clam bake that they make in the movie verbatim, which is what Dom is reading out of. Yes, right over there.
Yeah, how much seafood did you guys go through while
I wish that was the Stavros.
8 lobster rolls a day.
And that's what Stavros admitted to.
Yeah.
We ate that food all the time, and what was so great is that we had an unbelievable culinary expert with us who was sourcing the best local ingredients. So everything you're seeing, like it's not prop food, it's not movie food, like they're all making the real thing. And Banderas was so strict about it. Like, like sometimes he would say, okay, in this scene I'm gonna be making a paella. And I remember vividly being like, okay, but Antonio, there's no paella on the menu. He's like, I'll make it off camera. Just don't shoot me. And I was like, and if you ever watch the movie again, watch what he's doing in the scene before Sal comes in late and punches him in the face. Watch what he's cooking in the corner. Avoid it. And I'm happy he did it because again, he was so dedicated to it that he always wanted to be in the kitchen doing something, cooking something, like because he knew what to do and he didn't need like any instruction. He really was the authority on food on our team. Like he was the authority. Like he would let us know if we were getting something wrong. And so a lot of it was us doing scenes either between Dom and Leo or Stavros and Leo, and Antonio was just there doing the work that the head chef would do, which is chopping vegetables, preparing food, doing it totally silent for days sometimes. And it's what I'm getting at when I say that the humility that his character had, he embodied totally, and he never dropped it. It was unbelievable to see. Yes, right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Actually, one of you guys will ask a question.
Okay, my question more for Matt, but obviously this is your first movie not in like the Canadian system, like it's not telefilm, it's not 200 Days Under Nirvana the band, it's
That's
like
right.
the American studio. So I was wondering if those moments where you had to really relinquish control or were like, oh, this is a very different system and like confronting that aspect of it.
I would say it confronted me more than I confronted it. You couldn't hear the question was I'm used to, as she's so complimentary. That's not the word. As she so nicely put it, normally I shoot my movies for 200 days. And this one shot in 25. And how many is it? 27?
It's not enough.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was extremely different. And like I said, the cast really was my security blanket. I was clinging to their legs, mostly so that like the people who were mad at me wouldn't come up and yell at me. They wouldn't do it in front of the actors. So I was just stand right next to Dominic Sessa or Antonio Banderas every single second I'm on set, and I survived. Nobody yelled at me. And then your friend had the question.
Let's go. What is one thing, this is for both of you, what is one thing that you learned from this production that you'll bring into the next production that you work on? And if you could say anything to Anthony Bourdain today, what would you say?
What would I bring into the next production? Well, I just finished a movie recently, and I think in that I felt much more comfortable taking risks and making crazy choices and stuff. Because I mean, Matt was the first director I guess I worked with where I really felt comfortable and at ease and had a similar sense of humor with. You know, like that went a really long way. And the movies that I've engaged with after this have been really relying on that. Like, am I able to laugh with the people I'm working with? Am I able to laugh with my director and my castmates? And I think that has been like a revelation for me, and it's made working so much easier, and it's made being creative so much easier. And what was the second part? If I could ask Anthony Bourdain.
No, if you could tell me, I have a good answer for this. If you could say anything to Anthony Bourdain, it would be, come check out Tony, limited release. Thank you so much for coming here tonight, everybody.